We request to welcome all the devotees by garlanding them, all the senior devotees and all God brothers, sisters, Prabhupada disciples. Our volunteer devotees can garland them.
हरे कृष्ण। तो 1968 में जब श्रील प्रभुपाद मॉन्ट्रियल आ रहे थे तो हिज ऑनरेस गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी महाराज गुरु महाराज को पता लगा कि श्रील प्रभुपाद आ रहे हैं, तो उन्होंने वहाँ के टेम्पल प्रेसिडेंट महापुरुष प्रभु से पूछा कि क्या उनको कोई सेवा मिल सकती है। तो उनको जो है श्रील प्रभुपाद के रूम क्लीन करने की सेवा मिली। तो श्रील गुरु महाराज कहते हैं कि ये उनकी पहली जो है वो प्रेममयी सेवा थी और श्रील प्रभुपाद के लिए। तो उन्होंने बहुत ही अच्छे से कमरे की सफाई करी, खिड़कियाँ, दरवाजे। तो यहाँ से जो है वो गुरु महाराज की सेवा प्रारंभ हुई। और आज जैसा कि भक्त लोग दिल्ली में बहुत ही विशाल रूप से गुरु महाराज की व्यास पूजा मना रहे हैं, तो यहाँ पर हम कुछ गुरु भाई बहन मौजूद हैं। संख्या में कम हो सकते हैं, लेकिन उसी प्रकार से जैसा गुरु महाराज 1968 में श्रील प्रभुपाद के वेलकम के लिए सफाई कर रहे थे, आज हम सब गुरु भाई बहन उसी प्रकार से जो है वो उसी प्रकार से आज हम गुरु भाई बहन उसी प्रकार से प्रभुपाद ऑडिटोरियम की यहाँ पे सफाई कर रहे हैं, वेलकम कर रहे हैं गुरु महाराज का। तो आशा करते हैं कि यही सेवा जो है गुरु महाराज स्वीकार करें और हम भी उसी तीव्रता से जैसा कि गुरु महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद के लिए शरणागत हैं वैसे हम भी हो सके। तो अभी हम जो है वो गुरु महाराज के पादुकाओं का अभिषेक करेंगे। माता जी कीर्तन कर सकते हैं स्लोली। हरे कृष्ण। हरे कृष्ण। जय जीवन प्रभु जी। दुष्यंत। यशोदा जीवन प्रभु अभिषेक।
हरे कृष्ण। तो अभिषेक जो होगा तो आप सभी को भी इसका मौका मिलेगा। You all also will get this opportunity to do Abhishek here. So one by one everyone can come as Abhishek proceeds. Each and everyone can come and do Abhishek. Hare Krishna.
I would like to welcome His Grace Sarvadik Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare literally wanted. And although your health has diminished since the glory days, and quite worrisome that in the 90s you had some heart issues, you continue to persevere in the face of poor health and medical problems. You continue to soldier on to spread this glorious movement of Lord Chaitanya. So I can only observe your accomplishments and activities with great awe and veneration, and pray that Krishna will keep you in our association here on this planet for a long time, so that we can always relish the nectar of your enthusiasm and your determination to serve the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, no matter what. So again, I wish you a very happy Vyasa Puja Day, happy birthday, and I offer you my 108 obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I'll request our God brothers and sisters, they can come and glorify Guru Maharaj. भाई और गुरु बहन उनसे निवेदन करूँगा जो गुरु महाराज के लिए कुछ ग्लोरिफिकेशन, कुछ ऑफरिंग करना चाहते हैं वो आ सकते हैं एक करके.
नमो विष्णु पादाय कृष्ण नमस्ते कृष्ण गोस्वामी महाराज उनके साउस को गौरव प्रचार ने विशेष नियम की प्रार्थना की. मध्यम तुम जिसके ज्ञान सुना के जो जनता स्मृति पूर्ण चरित्र हमारा विष्णु स्थापित बोले हम बोला जाता है. Gopal Krishna Goswami Prabhupada साहित्य प्रकाश वितरण तो This is very auspicious day. We are gathered together with our brothers, brothers, sisters, some of Prabhupada disciples who glorify pure devotee, and we are proud of being disciples of Guru Maharaj, and glorifying each qualities, sharing ourselves, realization. He encourages us to have a full faith on Guru Dwaraka. So I'll give some incidents of happened to Maharaj that put more faith of mine on Maharaj, and also I want to share with my God brothers. One time I was in Delhi, I was from Bombay, I am Bombay. So I stay in guest house, but I don't want that Maharaj to know that I am there. Nothing. So I don't attend any program. I do something in my home, obvious thing. Then Maharaj came to know I am here. So one Sunday he called, Jagjivan, you are here? Fine. So even when you are today, I think it's Sunday. I don't know when you are. So why don't you come with me, Jamnagar, Daksatra, we'll go. So I said, okay, Maharaj, we'll go. So then I was with Maharaj and his servant, I think Lakshman or something there. He was there, we went to Jamnagar. We went to Rohini, I think we went to Rohini, some other devotee's house, then we went to Daksatra, Jamnagar. So we attended Daksatra nicely. And we were late. So we at somebody's house. Maharaj servant, myself and Maharaj will spend the night. I think that because of Maharaj will tag and we are also tired, Maharaj will tag. So I didn't open up and Maharaj servant didn't go there. Maharaj called us, hey, Lakshman, Jagjivan, what are you doing? Let us go. We are not. So then anyhow, Maharaj, we are taking bath, okay, ready, we'll go. So we came back and in the middle, Maharaj told me, Jagjivan, what is my ring? What is my dream? I tell Maharaj, what is your dream? So I think something, I told Maharaj, when we were coming from Delhi, we went to a petrol pump. There we went to ashram. I think you take out the drink, keep there and drink up. But no, maybe. So I am new in Delhi, I don't know the roads, I don't know the area. But I remember this is a petrol pump, there is a big green garden over there, big green garden, and while I was going to Jamnagar, it was my left side. That I remember. Then I told Maharaj, then when I am coming back, it should be right side. So I told the driver, he took that place, find some petrol pump, find the place, we go there. We saw that a man there, attendant to put the petrol, he said, I know you will come. I know you will come here. हमको मालूम है आप आएंगे. मेरे बोला कैसा मालूम है तुम हम आएंगे? बोला ये है ना, मैं रात को रखा था, मेरे को बाघ दिखा गया, मैं डर गया रात को. He told me that I was keeping the ring with me and I was so fearful, some tiger lion type saw in my night, so I was fearful. So this is the story, Maharaj. See, the purity. Radha Mataji is here. Maharaj takes care of every details. Radha Mataji was doing book distribution in Allahabad in front of our Kumara tent and she used to distribute more beyond birth and death, Janma Murtu Pare. So, but she used to start and distribute books. Maharaj told me, Jagjivan, you see, Radha Mataji is poor. So, you give a chair to him. How he can distribute books stand so much long time. So, you see, Maharaj is so devotee there, he is so concerned with Mataji. And there may arrange a sitting place for him, at least he can distribute books nicely. One morning I went to Maharaj's room. Maharaj little cold something. Maharaj, what happened? Everybody cold in Bombay. Maharaj told me, you see, they looked at her something. They Joshua is my room. Joshua is another room. So he said, Joshua is my room and he want AC. I cannot tell no to him. So then he put AC, then I say, oh, okay, you come after some time. See, Maharaj is GBC. Joshua is under him, he can prepare the national secretary. He could tell no. Put up the AC. We use the, without AC will sleep or make a hand room. But he shows tolerant. He whole night he tolerant because even he got little sick but he tolerant. That is the quality of our Guru Maharaj. In Kumbh Mela, Maharaj got a bath in Kumbh Mela. So I took Maharaj went to look back there. When he came back, he wanted to feed some cows. Some cows, just you give 5 rupees, you get some grasses and feed them. That is the system there in Kumbh Mela. So I opened my purse and get 5 rupees to get some grass to feed Maharaj. Feed the cows or something there on behalf of Maharaj. Maharaj, no. I will give. Why are you giving them, spending temple money on my behalf for me? I am not doing anything for a temple. So, see how concerned. He told me that he told he is my GBC. He appointed me there. He controls everything. But he told no, I am not doing anything for temple. Why you spend temple money for me? So, this is the quality. One time, Maharaj was little sick, had some health problems, and he went to the hospital. I took Maharaj to hospital. The servant was there, and I arranged one brahmachari for Ramchandra. Take care of the health to Maharaj. He came to the hospital case. He gave an envelope to Maharaj servant. Maharaj gave a sealed envelope to Maharaj servant. So, that Maharaj servant know, I know Ramchandra know. 3 people know, Maharaj know. I was very inquisitive, what is there involved, what is there, there is something there, important thing involved. I was more inquisitive, but I came to know it was written, if anything happened to me, you don't leave ISKCON. I am thinking maybe some money matter, something there, property, I think Maharaj told me, it is simple. If anything happened to me, don't leave ISKCON. Simple instruction. So how is take care of devotee? Is simply anything happen to me, don't be disturbed. One time in Mayapur, Maharaj was in the GBC meeting for 1 month. I didn't want to see Maharaj, knowingly. I am doing something which Maharaj tell not to do. So why I tell Maharaj to tell, I tell no, then Maharaj tell no, I don't. He saw my wife. जब जीवन इतना बड़ा हो गया, हमको मिलने के नहीं आते हैं. He tell जब जीवन is so big, he not coming to meet me. So then after some time I went last, when Maharaj would leave, Maharaj tell jab जीवन, what are you doing here? You have become big Dada here. When you, Maharaj, you know, I say okay, whatever do. See, he not some actors are not with this person telling. See, he is concerned for me, for my disciple can with me. Same time also, he also advising me what to do. See, in old days, I think it is 1983, something like that, 83, 84, something like that. So, there are other systems. Every temple there will be 2 gurus. So, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, called Bhagavad, and Kirtan Swami, called Bhakti Bhag, 2 gurus in Bombay. So, you have to be Bombay, you have to take initiation from any one of them, rather than others. So, when is Bhakti Bhag, Kirtan Swami was senior. So, all his disciples were controlling most of things, all boss leaders they are there, or some life of depend they are there, restaurant under them, most of them. So, we were only 8-10 God brothers or 10-15, so we make one association one time. So, we want to go and take Maharaj. You see, you are our Guru Maharaj, you are GBC here, you are giving any scope to us, we are only controlled by some other Guru disciples. How we can do here? You give freedom and we make appointment from at least some in charge, something like that. So the other devotees they don't want to be front, so I was new, so they make me a leader, temporary leader. I will speak on behalf of them. So I went to Maharaj, the wishes says, Maharaj, I told Maharaj, this is the thing, see happening. Maharaj was angry and telling, see, Prabhupada gave me this society, you are my disciple, I should take more care to other disciples than my disciples. So that way you will be united. If I give chance to all my disciples, then other disciples think that I have neglected them. I always see, we sometimes see Maharaj ask, Maharaj take care of other Guru disciples, they ask what is problem. Take care of them, they take care of disciples. But nobody, no brand him that he is dedicated disciple or he is only taking a disciple. Nobody can brand him. He is so neutral. So I have so many stories, so many memories. Not a short time I can tell everything now. So, old days I used to go Pune, because I was taking care of Pune temple president there. Maharaj want to come here and he called me, he called me and let tomorrow we go to Pune. So while going to Pune, we go to Pune, Maharaj was meeting of the Sridham temple going on. Maharaj friend Malhotra, very friendly brother, Maharaj you take prasad here. To come back, one time Malhotra asked Maharaj, which vehicle came? Maharaj used to go that time, Maruti 800, that was price vehicle that time, Maruti 800 new came. Then Maharaj asked Malhotra ji, I come with a 4 months Mercedes. Maruti 800 car is 4 months Mercedes. Then while coming away, Maharaj used to, that time they didn't know Bombay Pune highway, you have to go through Lonavala. So when coming to Lonavala, so there is a lot of sweet shops, chiki shops. So Maharaj used to tell Lakshman, why don't go, there is some chiki there. Maharaj, we are going a car. We are going a car. How is that best? Maharaj, no, everyone. I am telling you, go and beg. It will prove your humbleness. It will prove your humbleness. So anyhow, look at it. I go sometime, something available to bring. So Maharaj that way train his disciples. This is the way they train disciples. Because Maharaj know disciples sometimes pop up. They are proud of their education, their things. So Maharaj is humble. And he teaches his disciples to be humble also. He always teaches his disciples to be humble. And that is the quality. When I have seen so many people got out of Sadhu Maharaj. This happened, you are responsible. This happened, you are responsible. This happened wrong. Maharaj, what are you doing? That time Maharaj don't open his mouth. One Kali Maharaj is not even open his mouth. He never opened his mouth. Even he is right. Even he is right. One time my own realization, I have some problem and I want to do something, Maharaj don't want to do something, then I call Dasanjan Prabhu, I call Bhima Prabhu in Mayapur. So I come to the restaurant, get some pizza, I tell let us go, Maharaj, why Maharaj is not doing that? Then Bhima Prabhu also went to them, then Maharaj, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Dasan would say, Maharaj opened a book and read there. Took a book and read there silently. Then like night 10 o'clock, Bhima Prabhu see, he could tell Bhima Prabhu that this is big thing I am doing other things, but he didn't open his mouth. Even he opened it. Simple. So I am fortunate, we are fortunate, Guru Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and this day I pray to Prabhupada, pronouncing that, and give him more energy, give him more lifetime, to serve Krishna Prabhupada, and we are the disciples who help Maharaj to achieve Hare Krishna. Gopal Krishna Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you. I would like to invite Anupama Mataji.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishaya Bhutale Sumite Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Sridham Mayapur Prasham Chakracharan Kanzan Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishaya Bhutale Sumite Goswami Maharaj Saraswati Gauravani Charani Bhashya Shashwamyati Pastha. On this auspicious day occasion of my Guru Maharaj birthday, I would like to glorify my Guru Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He is a great sage. In this world, we can say some sages, we glorify the sages like Narad Muni and some other Mahajan. So my Guru Maharaj, he is like one of the great sage, like Narad Muni, because he wanders all over the world and he preaches and he just purify all his disciples like us fallen souls. He is always worried about all the disciples and he is omniscient, like he knows everyone's heart very dearly. He understands everyone's feeling. When we go to him, he is always ready to understand our problems, he is ready to help, and he is always serving Srila Prabhupada. All 24/7 he is always serving Srila Prabhupada, and we don't have any words to just glorify him because he is very great. He has so many qualities, we cannot even complete his glorification throughout the day. But I would like to say one thing, that my Guru Maharaj, he is always he understands every disciple's heart. So one time when Mataji was sharing his experience, though I would like to share with all of you that experience. When Mataji, she was like about to take initiation, and she wanted to have some name with Radharani's name. So she was thinking her name was starting with S or something. So Guru Maharaj generally gives the name with the first letter, which begins with the first letter. But her name was starting with S, and she was thinking, I want to have Radharani's name, I want to have Radharani's name. Gurudev, please give me Radharani's name. And Maharaj already gave that one small chit and on that he has written the name, and it was different name. But then when Maharaj understood that Mataji's desire that she wants to have Radharani's name, so at the time of giving beads, Maharaj changed her name from S and he gave Radharani's name. So she was so happy that, oh, Maharaj understood my feelings, like no, he knows everyone's heart, what we are thinking, and from our face, from our expressions, he understands what we want and how we want to serve him. So it is very miraculous, like Maharaj, he is very great devotee, he knows everyone, he knows God and like Krishna, he has got so much mercy from Krishna to understand everyone. So I would like to thank him, I would like to pay my obeisance and so much gratitude that Maharaj accepted us as his disciple and gave us all mercy to us. Thank you very much.
Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Goswami Srimate Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Shaitara Prakasha Vidya Chakra Kirtavan Sadhu Bhagavata Pradayate Namo. The glorification of our Guru Maharaj Gopal Krishna Maharaj, it is just like the waves of the seas. You cannot count the waves of the seas. So it is so vast. In the sea we cannot count the waves of the sea. So if we start telling the glorification, so it will be never the end. So I will tell some few points regarding the Maharaj. When Guru Maharaj he comes to Mayapur, he obey all the rules of the mandir. He obey all the rules. Even he wake up early in the morning and he comes to mandir and he makes the arati of Panchatattva. So one of the devotees asked, why you do not make the arati of Radharani and Astasakhi? Then Guru Maharaj tells that I am not qualified for that. So this is we cannot learn from this, that we cannot deny from the followers of Guru Maharaj. That is starting from Krishna to all the Maharaj who have actually spent their life throughout life in the spiritual work. So we should learn from that Guru Maharaj is so obedient in his work, and he comes in the important, he is a very important member in GBC, and he takes very important decision in making the GBC to survive, so that there should not be any discrepancies among the devotees. So he takes very important decision in GBC also. So we can learn so many things from our Guru Maharaj. I will elaborate some of the points. One of the devotees, he asked the Maharaj, how many disciples you have? So Guru Maharaj tells, I cannot tell the number, but those who actually obey the spiritual path and advice of the spiritual world, and they are the real devotee of me. This is the advice of Guru Maharaj, so that whatever we learn, whatever teach by the Maharaj, Guru Maharaj and other people, we should obey the things in our actual life. Because if we do not obey the spiritual things in our life, we cannot become the real devotee. This is his teaching. So mercy of Guru Maharaj, if we get the mercy of Guru Maharaj, then the Lord Krishna, he keeps us very happy. Because one man cannot pass the 10th class at a glance. He have to start from one standard 1, 2, 3, 4, and then lastly the 10th exam. So if we follow this, we have to become small, and then it will grow up. This is also one of the teaching of our Guru Maharaj. Obedience to Guru Maharaj by our service to Guru, when he will become very happy, he will give some spiritual advice and advice to us. If we follow the advice, obey the spiritual guideline, then only the God will bless. Our Guru Maharaj is very merciful, kind-hearted, obedient, and he follows the path of spiritual. Likewise, we have to follow the same path. আছে যত নগরাদি গ্রাম সর্বত্র হইবে प्रचार मोर नाम। यानी जितना वर्ल्ड में जितना भी विलेज है, सिटी है, सब जगह पे मेरा नाम प्रचार होना चाहिए। एवरीवेयर टेल हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Then another thing is that if Krishna, spiritual God, Lord Krishna is merciful to everybody. Likewise, Gopal Krishna Maharaj also, he meets every person. Where if you will go at Delhi or any other place, if you want to meet Guru Maharaj, he never denied any devotee. This is his whatever the work important work he had, but he used to meet the devotees. So this is also one of the very important things Guru Maharaj he used to follow. He always thinks about the devotees. The devotees, how they can improve in their spiritual life. So there are many things to tell, but I will shortcut here. So I am very thankful to the persons that they have given me the chance to tell something. So thank you.
В этот благословенный день Экадаши, the auspicious day of Ekadashi, я хочу прославить, поздравить и поблагодарить дорогого Гуру Махараджа с днем его имени. I would like to congratulate and glorify my spiritual master, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Дорогой Гуру Махарадж, пожалуйста, примите мои современные поклоны и ваши lotus feet. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet.
Вы являете собой пример чистой преданности и полной самоотдачи миссии Шрилы Прабхупады.
You are the example of pure devotion and pure dedication to the mission of Srila Prabhupada.
Я до слез восхищена вашей самоотдачей.
It brings me tears when I think about how much you're dedicated.
Когда даже обычные люди просто не могут выдерживать ваш плотный график.
When even ordinary people, they can't, they're not able to withstand your regular schedule.
Вы в своем почтительном возрасте
In your advanced age,
проводите деятельность, которая нас спасает, полностью отдавая себя.
you are conducting your service, giving yourself fully.
Это даршаны, это огромные инициации, это мангаларати и еще много всего того, что мы просто не знаем.
These are darshans, these are mangalaratis, these are such grand, wide initiations, and so many other things that we may not even know about.
На самом деле не хватит ни русских, ни английских слов, чтобы я смогла как-то описать, насколько великая личность наш Гуру Махарадж, насколько вы, чтобы описать все ваши качества, просто не хватит слов.
There will not be enough Russian words, there will not be enough English words to actually describe your grand glory, all of your qualifications, qualities. There will not be enough words.
На самом деле это огромная удача жить с вами на этой планете в одно время.
Actually, it's a great fortune to live with you at the same time on this earth.
И тем более быть вашим учеником, ученицей, это просто удача в миллионной степени.
Moreover, to be your disciple is such good fortune, manifold, millionfold.
Я знаю, что все самое хорошее, самое лучшее в нашей супружеской жизни, это все по вашей милости и благословению. Это 100%.
I know that everything that's good that has come to my life has come only by your blessings, 100%.
В этот день я хочу молить вас о благословении, дать духовную силу, духовный вкус, всегда оставаться с преданными и служить миссии Шрилы Прабхупады и вашей миссии Гуру Махарадж.
I would like to beg you to pray and pray to you on this day to give me the taste of association with devotees, taste for the service in the mission of Srila Prabhupada.
И также молю о милости,
I pray for
если это
mercy.
возможно, о вашей милости выстраивать гармоничные отношения с преданными.
I pray for mercy, for your mercy for me to be able to build relationships with other devotees in harmony.
И я молю Господа и Шрилу Прабхупаду, чтобы они дали возможность, чтобы вы оставались как можно дольше на этой планете, крепкого здоровья и духовной силы, Гуру Махарадж. Вы нам очень нужны как воздух.
And I pray to the Lord, I pray to Srila Prabhupada so that you would have many, many long years of life, strong health, and spiritual strength, because we need you very, very much, just like we need air to breathe.
Спасибо вам, Гуру Махарадж, за все.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj, for everything. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pujayane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Prastacharya Gopal Krishna Maharaj ki jai. So I met Gopal Krishna Maharaj in 1976. And we would all come for Gopanim and Kartik. So all my God brothers, we would get together and we would come from all over the world, and we would meet so many Indian disciples of Prabhupada at that time. And the Maharaj, he was totally dedicated to serving Prabhupada. And it's said that if a disciple loves his guru,
then he will love the disciples of his Guru. So we appreciated very much the service that Maharaj was doing for Prabhupada, and it was very inspiring for us because he had basically given up everything and anything, and he was just serving Prabhupada exclusively. So this was very inspirational for us. We were also doing the same. So we were feeling support in serving Prabhupada in that way. And I didn't spend much time in India at that time because when Prabhupada was physically present, my service was in Australia. I was a Pujari there for many years in ISKCON. That's all I did. So when I would come, I would associate with Jananivas and Panga Jangari here. I would associate in Mumbai. I was associate with the Pujaris there, and there were American devotees. And in Vrindavan, I was associating there. During those times, I had met Gopal Krishna Maharaj sometimes. One time I remember we were in the Ganges. The Ganges was very close to Mayapur Mandir at that time. And so all of us, there was maybe 20 devotees, and we began a discussion. And my godbrother, what's his name? Prabhupada asked him to preach to the scientific world. No, it's American. Sariputta. Prabhu. And so Sariputta, he was more or less heading up the conversation, and he was explaining about science, like modern science, and about scientists, and in relationship to Vedic culture, to Vedic sciences. So I found that very interesting, and Gopal Krishna was there, and so we were asking him different questions, and he basically said that almost all the scientists in the world, this is in 1976, he said almost all the scientists in the world, they believe in God. He said only a small percentage of the scientists were actually atheists. And the global leaders of the world, they were trying to get rid of religion, trying to get rid of God, and establish science as the foundation of truth and reality. So Sariputta was shredding that idea that there is no God, and that science is a replacement for God. So the majority of scientists, they believe in God, but the media, which was controlled by the atheistic leaders of the world at that time, they, in the educational system, to a great extent, they would not promote that God is the creator. They were against that. Instead, they're promoting science. So the whole world, they were thinking the scientists are atheists. They don't believe in God. But this is not true. So they explained to us that almost all the scientists, they believe in God. So then, and he explained that all these theories like Darwin's theory and other theories, they were being promoted by a very small section of society that controlled the media, they controlled the educational system, and through the schools, through universities, through television, through movies, they were all promoting Darwin's theory as the explanation of the beginning of humanity. And so I personally, we all were so happy. Gopal Krishna also, he was so happy to hear that most of the scientists, they believe in God. How long do I have? One more minute? I have 1 more minute. I want 1 more hour, but I can only have 1 more minute. Okay. So, the whole false image that the leaders of the world were promoting through the education institutions, through the media, through Hollywood. I mean, if you watch any Hollywood movie, they're promoting Darwin's theory, most of them. In Hollywood movies, they don't say, oh, God is the creator, the supreme being, Govindamani Purusham, Mahamadami. You will not get that from Hollywood. So who are these people? Who is in control of Hollywood? Demons. Some of the actors in Hollywood, they believe in God, but the leaders, they did not. Also the media, the people in control of the media, they're all atheists. The people in control of the educational system, all atheists. Like my mother, she came from Lithuania, she was born in Lithuania. She told me that when she was going to school, she said the education that they got there was not the same as the education given in Germany, not the same as in England, not the same as in America. But now you see all the education is the same. There is no difference. You go to any university, any school, exactly the same education is given. So the education worldwide has been centralized. By who? By people who do not believe in God, because they are criticizing religion. In the schools and the universities, they are criticizing religion and religious people. So this centralization has taken place in every aspect of life. Whether it's education, whether it's medicine, whether it's entertainment, you look everywhere in the world, it's the same thing. There is no scope or opportunity for personal development in any of the sciences or in anything within society, all controlled by a few small number of people. So when Prabhupada came to the Western country, he said he wanted to create a revolution in the impious lives of the misdirected public. So Prabhupada was educating us. What is reality? What is truth? Without Prabhupada, we would still believe the demons and the atheists. We would believe in Hollywood. We would believe in everything else. So we don't accept the demons. In fact, devotees, they reject demons. Okay, I'll better end here now, otherwise I'll get kicked off. Hare Krishna, thank you very much.
His Holiness Guru Maharaj Krishna Maharaj has been a tremendous instrument in trying to revamp the life, spiritual life of the second generation devotees. I'm a second generation guy, so I can speak for myself. I remember when I took sannyas and I visited Delhi. So he spoke to me and he wanted me, in fact, to openly solicited that I should preach in India. And his relationship with a number of us has been very outstanding, very encouraging. Each time I visit their temple, and it is not just him, that's the culture of their temple. I can speak for myself. In fact, I remember one time there was one of my friends in the US, and the president of Baltimore Temple, who had arranged for me to come to India for Ayurvedic treatment with an Ayurvedic Dr. Nyavandava there. So, he had also arranged that his father is a retired medical doctor, and his father had worked, has served in the Indian Army as a general. So he wanted me to stay in his father's house with his parents, with his family, to go for my treatment. And earlier, I used to come to Delhi, and I have a very strong relationship with Gopal Krishna Maharaj. And so each time I come there, he will always want me to be engaged, going to different temples under his care in the Delhi area to give classes. So I remember when I came for that treatment, and I told the devotees in Delhi temple that this is my mission. I'm coming to get some treatment, but I will not be staying in the temple. I said, but I will not be staying in the temple. My friend arranged for me to stay with his father and his family. So, and they will arrange to take me to the doctor, every doctor. And so, the devotees in Delhi, completely in the mode of Gopal Krishna Maharaj, they were completely opposed to the idea that I had to go and stay in someone's home to go for my treatment. So, the management and a number of my friends there, they came to me that, no, you're not going anywhere. You stay in the temple and we will arrange everything. We will take you to that place, we will be responsible, we will pay the fees and everything else. And this has been the mood of Gopal Krishna Maharaj. And each time that I have visited Delhi temple, it's always been like, I feel so free, because he will always make sure, Maharaj will always make sure that, they provide all of my necessities, all of my needs. And so the devotees, they will always come around to, solicit for some service and ask what requirements I have, and they'll be able to make the supplies. So, I remember one time when I came to Delhi, and I stayed for a very long time, like I think about 6 months or so. And each time Maharaj comes to the class, and then he sees me during the Guru Puja, and he sees me, he will always ask, are they taking good care of you? Now, some of the eminent leaders in our society who are very busy, they don't have this time. I've been to so many temples. And sometimes you go to the temple, and the president may even be a very elevated devotee, but even just to see you or to interact, no, it's not there. But it is very interactive and is very much accessible, even to his own devotees. He's very busy, but it's very much accessible, and accessibility is one of those principles that we look forward to in seeing in a spiritual master. Because Lord Krishna mentions that we should approach. Approaching means that there should be some interpersonal relations, interaction. So Maharaj had that very a wonderful right of being interactive, being available, being accessible to anyone who wishes to reach out to him. And I've had that lived experience. We say it's Hemamot. It's a lived experience. It's a lived experience that I had with him. And I see him as someone that I could always look up to for help whenever I needed work. And of course, he's doing a lot of preaching and traveling all over the world. I remember the very first time that I met him when I was in New Jersey, when I was younger, brahmachari in New Jersey, in Towago Temple. And so he came to Towago Temple, and you know, I think after the class he called me, and then he was, you know, mentioning some things to me about the preaching in Africa and all this stuff. So that resonated with me very much, because the same instructions that my Guru Maharaj Vayasa Swami told me, that I should have, I should also help in the preaching in Africa. So he is very much favorably disposed to the young generation. I mean, the second generation devotees who are looking for help here and there, and have that very experience of his loving disposition towards those of us who are approaching for assistance. And his preaching mode also is very intriguing, because whenever there is the need, he will speak in the local language. Like in India, sometimes in the temple, even in the Delhi temple, sometimes he speaks in English, and sometimes he will speak in Hindi. So it's very much adjustable. You know what? When someone, and you listen, when someone is maladjusted, it will create so much problem. He might be a very erudite scholar, a very elevated devotee. But if the person is maladjusted, you know what? You want the whole world to adjust themselves to suit your purpose. Then there's the problem. Now, with Maharaj, he is very adjusted. So, thank you, the organizers of this program, for setting up this very wonderful arrangement, and for asking me to be part of the program. I really appreciate it. To set up a program like this is very challenging, so I appreciate all of your efforts. Thank you very much. Jai.
Om Jnanatimranandashya Chakshu Umantam Gena Tajmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I've known Gopal Krishna Maharaj for many years, but I got into a much closer relationship with him in 2009 when I was teaching Nectar of Devotion at the Juhu Temple. And when I finished teaching that, then he invited me to start a Bhakti Shastri course in Chandigarh. And then from Chandigarh, he wanted me to start a course in Delhi. So I got bounced around quite a bit, but it was really ecstatic. And what, kind of the overriding impression that I have is that he's like an amazingly empowered devotee to establish temples. When I was in I was teaching both in East Kailash and in Punjabi Bagh. I think there was 120 students we had total. We had two sections. We had brahmacharis and grahasta, two sections in East Kailash, and then also in Punjabi Bagh, which is one section. I think it was a total of 120, and it was like amazing. And his disciples used to take me around to show me these different temples, and some of them were just under development. Daiva Singha Prabhu yesterday called me and asked me to speak, and I asked him to send me how many temples there are in Delhi now. I think there was like 4 when I was there way back in 2011. Now there's 17. And it was interesting, maybe you can clarify this for a little bit, is that there are 17 temples and 3 large centers. I guess that's different. So there's east of Kailash, I know that's huge. And maybe Rohini, is that the other one? And what? Dwarka, Rohini. Dwarka was on that list of 17. But at any rate, there's amazing level of empowerment. And it's not just in India that he's done this, but in Canada. And I know he's kind of been behind the Boise, Idaho temple development. Really powerful project there. And Dr. Raman and his brother, they're both geniuses, Shastric geniuses and professors at universities. And in Africa, and I guess also in China, he's developing temples. So it's a very remarkable characteristic, Sayapati Bhakta, that's specifically empowered in this way. And it doesn't, nothing interferes with this Vyashyaka Prabhu. He is focused on commitment to pushing on Prabhupada's mission. I mean, he's had major health challenges in recent years, but that doesn't stop him. And his commitment to worshipping the deities is phenomenal. And even when he's not in good health, he'll get up and offer the arti. So it's just evidence of this level of devotion and commitment to Srila Prabhupada and pushing on the mission. It's I'm always amazed by what goes on in his projects and how quickly they develop. And he's just such a powerful organizer. And as Maharaj was pointing out, he's always so accessible. There's a clear understanding, and even many senior devotees, when they have health challenges, they kind of lock the doors. But he's not like that. He's just wide open for discussions and interaction. I hadn't seen him. I was in America for about 5 years, and I came back into India in March of 2020. And I was getting medical treatment at the Bhaktivedanta Hospital on Mira Road, and I was staying at the Mira Road Temple. And he came there for Gopal. That's right. That was the last time I saw him, and there was a special arrangement made for the development of his devotee school. And they asked me to speak, and Maharaj was speaking, but he was just so loving with the children. So it's understandable, how he's been able to develop so many temples because of his loving mood and his capacity to interact. Despite his condition with health and other challenges, he's accessible. So it's a remarkable quality, and also a major factor in his empowerment to spread Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna. Bande Gurun Isha Bhaktan Ishan Ishanutanakan Tatpakasham Satat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samnakam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Definitely this is a very auspicious and uplifting moment and day for us. And I just came in and Radhapati Vinapati said, I should say something. Yeah, I was also thinking, because I had a few interaction with His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj since I am involved in Mayapur Institute project. In many occasions I have seen Maharaj is a very practical person actually. Most of us we know he is a very expert manager in Prabhupada's mission. His heart is always there for Prabhupada's mission. Maharaj does not see any external things external varieties. He sees who is dedicatedly doing service for Prabhupada. That's very unique character I have seen. On those days when Maharaj was quite healthy, nowadays he is very healthy, fragile. He doesn't go out on morning or so much, but still he goes. But on those days I am talking about 2017, no, 12-13, he used to come to Mayapur. And every morning, as you know, Maharaj, whenever he is in Mayapur, he will be doing Mangalarti. Very unique person. He never misses Mangalarti. Even if he coming at 1 o'clock morning, still he is there in the altar next morning. So after Mangalarti, he will take his chanting beads and he will walk. And he used to walk on the Taranpur road. I don't know how many of you have seen where the Mayapur Institute is located in Taranpur area. That road is quiet early in the morning. Very quiet. A lot of greenery. So Maharaj along with the disciples used to walk. Because project is happening there, I am also most of the time there. And then, Maharaj, we used to kind of meet each other. Then Maharaj will, pat on my back, say, Padmanabh, so, how are things going on? You believe me, without me even asking Maharaj, he would just, take a tour when there was nothing inside. Then we started this first building. And one day he came, then he was asking me, so what are the funds, how are you managing? Then I said, Maharaj, yes, we need some help. He said, okay, I'll instruct Maharaj Prabhu. How much it costs? At least one room. I said, Maharaj, 10 lakhs. Okay, after I go back, you contact Maharaj Prabhu. I'll ensure that money is transferred. As you know, that Maharaj is very busy with so many services. So 1 year passed by, next year he came back. He asked me this same thing. He said, have you received the funds? I said, no, Maharaj. Okay, this time I will ensure that money is transferred. I mean to say, you see, and he is the first sannyasi, Prabhupada disciple in ISKCON who came forward personally to me and asking about building of the project, how I am managing, whether I need any funds. As I said, he is an expert and a leader who understands what are the challenges devotees go when they give leadership to some projects in the organization. And especially places like Mayapur, you can see, once always a crisis. And he gave me, his first sannyasi, he asked me and he gave. And since then, wherever he sees me, first thing he will ask me is, Padmanabh, how is project going? And he would ask how the students are coming, teacher. I mean to say, he is very much concerned that education project in ISKCON is very, very important. We know, of course, even till today Maharaj is serving in DBT. DBT means publication, means to do with educating people. And is very much, concerned. After so many years, this time when I was in Canada also, Maharaj came. I'm just talking about last month. Maharaj, one of the disciples, they wanted to take husband and wife, they wanted to take second initiation. Then, because Maharaj was saying also better to die about this Shastri. So I had to go and meet to help them. And then, when I came there, I said, oh, you are here? So who is managing Mayapur Institute? I said, yes, Maharaj, devotees are there. So then, again asked me, so are you able to collect? There, as you know, in ISKCON, fundraising is a very sensitive matter when you are going from your base station to some other temple area. And Maharaj asked me, he said, you came to Canada so far, were you able to get some funds? I said, Maharaj, you know the situation better. I cannot openly claim about fundraising. And because they invited me, I'm just here to give some classes, I'm doing some preaching. They said, no. Then he started talking to the devotees, there are devotees. He said, he's doing very nice project in Mayapur. Prabhupada wanted to establish this Mayapur Institute, education project in Mayapur. And since he is doing this service, things are coming up very nicely. And he requires a lot of funds. You also support him. Maharaj did the fundraising for me. I mean to say, that is the kind of a unique thing I have seen in Maharaj, that his heart is very big. He is a Prabhupada's man. He does not see the differences, who you are initiated by, what is your position. As long as you are doing some service, Maharaj recognizes the service. And Maharaj, whenever he goes to some places, I have seen, he doesn't care about his health, even now also. When he was in Toronto, he could hardly, be heard when he spoke. But one after another meeting, when he came from morning until evening, devotees are coming in great number, and he's always there sitting very peacefully like a small child. And meeting with everybody with smiling face, responding to any query. There is not even a slight trace of dissatisfaction in his face. You can see it. That means, I was reading that Prabhupada mentions in his Bhagavatam purport that a pure devotee of the Lord, even though he is in this material world, but he does not have the material body. This is the proof of Maharaj, I could say. Then Prabhupada goes on saying, means we all have this material body, but Prabhupada is saying a pure devotee of the Lord doesn't have material body. Means he says, then Prabhupada goes on and expanding the point. You can see this section also where the thrust of its home. That section Prabhupada is now commenting this part. He says, when we synchronize our intentions with Krishna's intentions, that means we don't have any separate desire than serving only and only Krishna. Same thing also we see in the life of Goswami Maharaj. I mean to say, they don't have any other desire than just to expand Prabhupada's mission, just to serve the devotees. So, whenever he went any place, irrespective of his health condition, Maharaj is always available for the devotees. There are some new devotees, they came to meet, Maharaj said, okay, let them come. There are some management meeting, have to happen, they are waiting, still, okay, we'll go, just wait. So, they are our kind of, examples that we need to understand if at all we have become fortunate to be in Prabhupada's organization, then at least I can talk about myself. And in this young body, I should be always thinking about how to serve Krishna, how to expand Prabhupada's mission. And I take a lot of inspiration from Maharaj. If you say about preaching, teaching, managerial responsibility, living common behavior with people in public, expert in how to deal according to the situations, perfect. So on this auspicious holy appearance, Dev Vyasa Puja celebration of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. I seek his blessings so that I can be one of the instruments in Prabhupada's mission to do what Prabhupada wanted to accomplish in the matter of educating devotees in the science of Krishna consciousness. Thank you, dear devotees, for allowing me to speak something.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj Puja. My dear and very very respectful spiritual uncle, another year is passing by and we are extremely fortunate to have you as our guide and as our manager. I take pride that in this life my spiritual journey began in Delhi, and under your good care is an understatement. Under a very very good care of you and your disciples, we were kept like blue-eyed babies, be it me, my wife, my children. And we grew up learning the essentials of KC. The terrific, amazing morning program of East of Kailash. I am yet to see another temple which comes even close to ISKCON East of Kailash when it comes to solid, attentive chanting. Something that is a dire need in our society today. People are walking and looking here and there and chanting and doing all those things. And as His Grace Janmashtami Prabhu mentioned, Maharaj, you are amazingly empowered to establish temples. And I have been a witness to it in the last 12 years. I have seen Delhi moving or growing from 3 temples to the 17th. And more I meditate upon how you do things. It amazes me and it evolves to me that you are unfathomable in your service to your spiritual master. Be it your almost obsessive nature towards making sure that you are there in Mangalarati, and then Guru Puja, and much more than both of them is your allegiance to Srila Prabhupada. 3 people, Bhakti Shah Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj and Jayapataka Maharaj, they are always known as Prabhupada men. And as His Grace Padmanabhan Prabhu was mentioning, he would just see, are you doing something for the moment, and then he will give himself to you. There is no other external consideration in Maharaj's case. I have seen his health, taking a downturn and Parkinson and this and that. Now things are getting better. But even during those times, as an ideal Acharya, you exemplified when you returned from Russia, 2 a.m. in the morning, you're still there in the Mangalarati altar at 4:30. And it reflects in your disciples also, Maharaj. As His Holiness Bhakti Vasudev Maharaj was mentioning about the devotee care standard of Delhi temple, it's not because he's a sannyasi, but it cuts across to every guest who are there. So I see you in what you have created, Maharaj, and I pray that you be merciful on me to grant me a drop of that purity, a drop of that perseverance, as Srimad Bhagavatam states, Titikshva Karunika Suhrad Sarvadehinam Ajata Shatrava Shanta Sadhva Sadhu Bhushanam. You have all these 6 qualities. You tolerate so that you can preach more and more. My words are falling short to the extent of preaching that you do, whether it is Kurukshetra, whether it is Ludhiana, whether it is Vrindavan, whether it is Mumbai. At one point in time, you would finish
Mangalarti in Vrindavan, you will finish Rajbhog Aarti in Juhu, and you will finish the Janmashtami festival in east of Kailash. That's how you would travel. So it's like glorifying you is like, a fly chasing a Garuda. So I have no qualifications to do that. Stay merciful on this wretched soul, Maharaj, so that some service I can do for the pleasure of you, your God brothers, and your dear God brother, His Holiness Gopal Goswami Maharaj, and your spiritual master, Krishna Prabhupada. Very, very happy appearance day to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, дорогие преданные, примите мои поклоны.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances.
Сейчас большое волнение, поскольку, что бы я ни сказал, я никогда не смогу по-настоящему прославить моего дорогого духовного учителя Шрила Гопал Кришна Госвами. Тот вклад бесконечный, который он делает в каждого, с кем он соприкасается. И в частности, моя семья, я и моя супруга.
I feel very anxious to be here because no matter what I say, it will never compare to everything that Guru Maharaj has given to me, to my family, my wife, and our spiritual lives.
Большое видится на расстоянии, и чем больше времени проходит с того момента, когда я впервые соприкоснулся с Шрилой Гопал Кришной Госвами.
Everything big you can only see from a distance. So the more time passes as I have met our spiritual master Gopal Krishna Goswami,
тем больше я понимаю, какой океан милости пролил лично на меня мой духовный учитель Шрила Гопал Кришна Госвами.
The more I understand the vastness of the ocean of mercy that was poured on me by my spiritual master, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami.
Я хотел бы поделиться очень сокровенной для меня историей, которая со мной произошла в первый день моего соприкосновения с моим духовным учителем.
And I would like to share one very confidential story that happened to me on the day when I met my spiritual master.
Это было в 2008 году в России на фестивале Саду Санга.
It happened in 2008 in Russia at the festival of Sadhu Sangha.
Когда я уже несколько лет практиковал, и я с той искренностью, на которую я способен, просил Шрилу Прабхупаду, чтобы он мне дал видение, кто мой духовный учитель, чтобы он мне дал духовного учителя.
At that point of time, I was practicing spiritual life for a couple of years, and with all the sincerity that I had in my heart, I was meditating so that Srila Prabhupada, so that the Lord would reveal to me and show me who is my spiritual master.
И в этот день мне приснился Бхактивайбхава Махарадж.
And on that day, I had a dream, and I saw Bhakti Vaibhava Maharaj.
Я настолько четко помню этот сон, все до мельчайших деталей, как будто это было прям действительно наяву.
And I remember this dream very clearly, as if it was real. Like I remember every single detail.
И мне на тот момент очень многие нравились духовные учителя, и я буквально метался, кто же мой духовный учитель.
At that point of time, so many spiritual masters I found, like I liked so many spiritual masters, and I was really like thinking whether it's this one or that one. It was a very difficult decision.
И Бхакти Вайбхава Махарадж, он в моем сне сказал: я не твой духовный учитель, но твой духовный учитель тебя найдет сам.
And Bhakti Vaibhava Maharaj told me in my dream, he said, I am not your spiritual master, but your spiritual master will find you himself.
И так случилось, что приблизительно на третий день фестиваля Саду Санга приехал Шрила Гопал Кришна Госвами.
And it so happened that on the third day of the festival of Sadhu Sangha, Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj arrived.
И я увидел, что его окружило огромное количество преданных, и я буквально сдалека видел, какое почтение ему все оказывают, пытается каждый что-то сделать для него, что-то подарить.
And immediately a huge crowd of devotees gathered around him, and they were all very reverent, and they were very respectful, and they all wanted to do some service to him, and I was observing this from a distance.
И с каждым мгновением у меня возникало большое желание как-то соприкоснуться, послужить этому преданному.
And with every moment, I started having this feeling of desire of also like getting in contact with this devotee and maybe doing some service to him.
И по милости Господа так случилось, что мы прям буквально вдвоем очутились, и никого даже не было рядом. То есть мы вот просто вдвоем были вместе.
And it so happened that I found myself standing next to him alone. Like there were the two of us who were standing face to face, nobody was around.
И я пожертвовал Гуру Махараджу, Лакшми.
And I donated some Lakshmi to Guru Maharaj.
Поклонился, и когда я начал вставать,
I offered my obeisances, and as I was getting up,
я буквально услышал, я почувствовал, как от Махараджа идет звук такой, знаете, как от трансформаторной будки или как от высокого напряжения проводов.
as I was getting up, I could hear this vibration. You know, as you hear from the like electric wires, you can hear this kind of vibration strong.
И через мгновение просто буквально, это вот так оно и было. Буквально как молния, знаете, такая в сердце мне ударила. Я такой, я прям даже испугался. Но эта молния была молния какого-то экстаза.
And this is exactly how it was. I was getting up, and this thunder of some kind of ecstasy just hit my heart, and I was like I felt it as I was getting up.
И я благодарил Господа за то, что Он мне показал настоящего садху.
And I was so grateful to the Lord that He showed me real sadhu.
И с этого дня так получилось, что Шрила Гопал Кришна Госвами позволил мне быть его личным массажистом.
And at that day, it so happened that Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj allowed me to be his personal masseuse, like I was massaging him.
И приблизительно лет 5 была возможность вместе с ним путешествовать по России.
And for the next 5 years, I had the opportunity to travel with him all over Russia.
В какой-то момент Шрила Гопал Госвами мне сам лично подошел и сказал: готовься к инициации. То есть вот это уникальная забота, личностное всегда отношение к самому обычному преданному. Всегда то, что я чувствовал от моего дорогого духовного учителя.
And at one point, he just came to me and he told me to prepare for initiation. So this was such a special care that was given from him to such an ordinary devotee as myself, and I've always felt this care throughout my spiritual life.
Я очень благодарен Шрила Гопал Кришне с вами за этот пример собственной жизнью, как от одной свечи загораются тысячи свеч. Точно так же мой дорогой духовный учитель зажигает тысячи сердец к чистому преданному служению Верховной Личности Бога Кришны.
And I'm so grateful to see this example of my spiritual master, the example of how one candle can light thousands of candles. So in this way, my spiritual master, he lights thousands and thousands of devotees in pure devotional service to the Lord.
Мукам Каротивачвам Пангом Лагетагирим Ядхай Татамахам Пандев Шри Гурум Тина Пранам. Эта молитва говорит о том, что все, что лично я получил в своей жизни, только благодаря милости Шрила Гопал Кришна Госвами.
This mantra, this prayer speaks or explains that everything in my spiritual life, in my life that I've received only by the mercy of my spiritual master.
И будучи обычным человеком, россиянином, сейчас, по милости моего Гуру Махараджа, я живу в Майяпуре, и есть возможность служить напрямую божествам, быть в обществе садху настоящих. Огромная благодарность. Спасибо вам, духовный учитель.
And even though I'm an ordinary devotee, a Russian, in this situation that there is in the world right now, I'm able to be in Mayapur, engage in the service, have sadhu sangha, and serve the deities. Thank you so much, dear Guru.
Я прошу вас, дорогие преданные ученики Шрила Гопала Кришны Госвами, благословите, чтобы я всегда оставался в создании Кришны и обрел эту квалификацию совершенным образом служить моему дорогому духовному учителю.
And I'm asking all of my dear God brothers and God sisters to please bless me so that I would always be in Krishna consciousness and I would have the qualification to serve my spiritual master.
Харе Кришна, примите мои поклоны.
Hare Krishna, please accept.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Goswami Maharaj Vayasa Puja. Vishnu Krishna Krishna Goswami Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Acharya Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadhari. A pure devotee is compared to a lotus on the water, which does not get wet by the water. So the most prominent thing for me about Gopal Krishna Maharaj is that he is like a lotus. Over the last 10 years, because of my service of repeating for Jagtak Maharaj, I've been in innumerable managerial meetings, and several of those meetings, a lot of them have been very complicated, stressful meetings. And one thing that I've consistently noticed is that Gopal Krishna Maharaj is just the same before the meeting, during the meeting, after the meeting. So he's just, I'm quite amazed whenever I look at him, because you don't find any difference. He's the same person 24 hours of the day, in whatever occasion, at whatever time of the day, whatever occasion it is, he's just the same person. He talks the same way, he smiles the same way. There is no change whatsoever in him. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita we have this verse, Katanchana smrite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet smrite viparitam syat Sri Chaitanyam namavitam, that if one remembers Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the most difficult things become very easy, and one if does not remember him, even the most simple things become very difficult. So for me, whenever I look at Gopal Krishna Maharaj, for me he is the personification of that verse, that because of his having taken shelter at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is able to handle whatever situation effortlessly, and it's not something that you would imagine. You just see him, you be around with him, and it's just there. It's very tangible, as thick as you can cut with a knife. So that's one thing which I'm very, what I've learned the most from him. And despite whatever things may be going on, his life doesn't change. For example, I've noticed that sometimes the meetings go on till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. When he goes, he has his lunch, and there are devotees who he meets, and again he comes back for the meetings, and no matter what time of the day or night he arrives in any place, he is doing the same thing, doing Mangalarati to the deities, worshipping his deities after that. So no matter what happens, his schedule doesn't change. So he's like, he closely reminds me of Srila Prabhupada, because Prabhupada's servants have often said that Prabhupada would just, wherever he goes, he would just continue as if it's the same old place, and not at the same place that he was before. So Gopal Krishna Maharaj is another example of that, where he's just the same. His schedule is the same no matter how much he travels. I remember once during one meeting, it was in Govardhan Eco Village. Maharaj actually travel every day morning to Govardhan Eco Village, go back to Mumbai in the evening, again come the next day. This went on for a week. So I was quite amazed that he was not affected by the difficulties of travel. He's constantly ecstatic in the service of Srila Prabhupada. And this is something which I really pray to him, aspire for, that I may develop even a drop of those characteristics, to be able to relish Srila Prabhupada's movement, to be able to relish Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement the way he does. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So we'll do Pushpanjali. We'll do this 9 times offering, like 3 times we'll offer, as you all know. So we'll recite all the mantras. You can recite after me, and after that, three times we'll recite. 3 times we'll recite Guru Maharaj's mantra, and we'll offer pushpa. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahayam Dadati स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतः पदकमलम् श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातम् सागणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम् श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांता स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांता सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवार्षभानवे देवी दयिताय कृपार्थये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाढ्य श्री रूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्री मूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्धा अपसिद्धांत ध्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौर किशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्य मूर्तये विप्रलंबर सांबोधे पादाम्बुजायते नमः नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौर शक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते गौराविर्भाव भूमिस्त्वं निर्दिष्टा सज्जना प्रिया वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथायते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुसे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते जयतां सूरतो पंगो मम मंद मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्व बलाम्बोजो राधा मदन मोहनो दिव्यद वृंदारण्य कल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद् रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्रीमद् राधा शील गोविंद देव स्थाली सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमान् व्यासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतटस्थिता कर्षणवेणुस्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथाय श्रेयस्तु नः तप्तकाञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So I will recite Guru Maharaj's mantra 3 times, and in each time we have to offer 3 times Pushpanjali. So total we will offer Pushpanjali 9 times. So please can recite after me. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Gopal Krishna Goswami Niti Namine Prabhupadasya Sahitya Ya Prakashya Vitirya Vacharam Krituvan Sadhu Bhagavad Padaya Te Namaha Yesha Pushpanjalim Yesha Pushpanjalim Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Gopal Krishna Goswami Niti Namine Prabhupadasya Sahitya Ya Prakashya Vitirya Pracharam Krituvan Sadhu Bhagavad Padaya Te Namaha Yesha Pushpanjalim Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Gopal Krishna Goswami Niti Namine Prabhupadasya Sahitya Ya Prakashya Vitirya Pracharam Krituvan Sadhu Bhagavad Padaya Te Namaha Yesha Pushpanjalim Param Pujya Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai Srila Gurudev ki jai Param Pujya Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj Vayasa Puja Mahotsav ki jai Samsara Davana Dalila Loka Mahaprabhu या प्रकाश वितीर्य च प्रचारं कृतवान् साधु भगवत्पादाय ते नमः। प्रचार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य, बीबीडी फाउंडर आचार्य, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अश्वत शत श्री श्रीमती श्रीवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे इस्कॉन वर्तमान गुरु वृंद की जय। संवे सवे गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। परम पूज्य गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। परम पूज्य गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। परम पूज्य गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी महाराज व्यास पूजा महामहोत्सव की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे और ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल यूनिटी हरे कृष्ण। और ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल यूनिटी हरे कृष्ण। और ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल यूनिटी हरे कृष्ण। और ग्लोरीज टू श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरांग। और ग्लोरीज टू श्री प्रभुपाद की जय।